In a world of uncertainty,
Rivers jizzing in his pants, and then you bring up your wife in the next sentence. Like, I know where we're going. What is going on?
there is only one place you can turn for fair dinkum advice.
1 word, unbelievable. 2 words, holy shit. 3 words, oh my god.
A place where the undeniably American
It sounds so weird in like an Australian accent.
meets the undeniably Aussie.
Hey, let's stop the foreskinning for some absolutely wonderful segments later.
Where the analysis is solid
I, for one, was not one of those haters, as I picked a Rams victory.
Look, I think he can get over 150 yards in this game, easily.
Kick his ass, Taylor Bass!
and everything else is out to kill you.
There's going to be shrinking nutsacks all over the place.
Welcome to the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
I personally really like that Taylor Goodall guy's draft. I think he picked a really good wide receiver in the middle rounds.
No one else agrees. Look at that. Silence. Crickets, mate. Crickets. You're on your own.
Fuck you guys.
It's really good. I think you're right too, because in the middle rounds, Taylor goes and gets this great guy called Cortland Sutton and Mike Williams and Gabe Davis. And that was it. They were all the guys he took in the middle rounds.
Yep, no one else.
No one else.
I picked up about 100 wide receivers in the middle rounds.
You did. All right, so where do we start to break this down? Who wants to talk about their team first? Sounds like Taylor. Taylor, talk about your team. Talk me through some of the decision-making you had to make through those rounds too. You kick off by getting McCaffrey first. I overstepped McCaffrey. You've got McCaffrey, Cook, Eckler. You've got your choice of Jefferson, Chase. You take McCaffrey. Talk about your love affair with Christian McCaffrey and why you think he's worthy of that.
So I almost took the 2 spot in this mock. I actually had a feeling that McCaffrey might actually drop to me. I'm not 100% sure whether people are going to be a little bit off him because of his last couple of years. I'm still in because it's not like, I've said it on the podcast, it's not like he's struggled when he's come back. It's not like this guy that you're like, well, he could get injured, but then he could also go back to a smaller workload or struggle when he plays. When he plays, he is undoubtedly the best player in fantasy football. There is absolutely no doubt. So if I'm basically taking a shot on his health, I like to presume health in this league. So I just can't go away from McCaffrey, especially when people are willing to let him drop to 4. Well, I just think it's so low for him. So I just thought that was the perfect spot for him. And then worst case scenario, someone took him in front of me. I probably would, in PPR might have gone cut. I think it's the year of wide receiver. But at worst, I may have gone Eckler as well. I think Eckler actually went before me, didn't he?
No, Eckler was there. And you stepped over and get McCaffrey.
I would always go McCaffrey over Eckler. I just think he's so dominant when he plays. So I just think that there was a no-brainer for me when McCaffrey's there at 4.
Well, then you double down on running back as well. Having seen Mixon and Kamara go right before your choice. Is that determined by you don't like the guys after it nearly as much as him, or you particularly love the value of Aaron Jones there? What's the decision-making there?
So it was a little bit of a reach. And if this wasn't full PPR, I don't think I would have done it. I just think, honestly, I think him and Dylan both maybe get 20, 30, 40 more rush attempts because I just think this team's going to run way more than it had to last year. But I think Aaron Jones is going to get, 20, 30 more receptions. I just think he's going to be so vital in the passing game. And Aaron Rodgers trusts him. Like, he clearly showed that in the playoff game against the Niners last year. What do you have, like 12 targets or something and 10 receptions? Yeah. It was insane. Like, he literally had to go to Aaron Jones. He didn't have a choice. And that was even with Devontae Adams there. So without Devontae Adams there, I just can't see how. I reckon Dylan might actually out-rush him. Like, I think Dylan's probably going to have more rush attempts. But I just think mixed in with a little bit more rush attempts from last year on Aaron Jones and way more passing work, I just think he's got huge upside, especially in a PPR league.
I've got to ask you, Manjot, then, because in that playoff game, we just saw Aaron Jones get stopped running the ball because the 49ers really just strangled that up. But do you agree with Tate about the passing thing? Just that's not a one-off. That's not just a situational thing. That could be a moving forward thing.
Yeah, because of this dude, by the way, he was stopping Mr. Warner. He was on fire in that playoff game. But yeah, I do agree with Taylor here. 100% can see more pass game work from Aaron Jones. He's got good hands. I reckon his receiving game is going to take a huge leap, as Taylor rightly said, and those rush attempts should go up because Rodgers is working with rookies at this point and Lazard. So that loss of Adams is going to take a lot out of that pass game. They're going to have to replace it with the rush game. So yeah, it just makes sense. But AJ Dillon is going to be a good player too. So
absolutely. This isn't an anti-AJ Dillon at all. I just think they're both going to be very good.
I think we'll get a lot of positive AJ Dillon talking a little bit too. The way back, then you get the opportunity to pick between, as you said, there was sort of there was Debo and then Mike Evans. There were a couple of guys who were interesting there. The running backs I know you'd spoken about really after Fournette went, that changed the game for you a bit. How did you feel in your decision-making around 3 then?
It was tough. I really, in a way, almost hoped someone else took Debo because I would have just smashed Mike Evans. It was literally between those two. And with what the situation is at Tampa this year without Chris Godwin there, I think Mike Evans will become way more consistent. Like, I think, in general, he's a very consistent wide receiver over an entire season. But he has games where he pops up for 120 yards. Then he has a game where he goes missing. I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think he's way too vital to that team. And with like wide receiver 2 being someone like Russell Gage, and then it just completely drops off. They can't afford to not feed Mike Evans every single game this year. And Tom Brady's, too smart not to. So I think in a PPR, Mike Evans is really, really handy. Well, I think he's going to have a lot of receptions. I just couldn't stay away from Debo in that spot. Like, I just think he sort of dropped a little bit too low. I don't know if like the mock just had him a little bit lower because of everything that sort of happened in the preseason with him asking for the trade, and was he asking for a trade or wasn't he? Whatever. I believe in Trey Lance, and I just think Debo is going to be easily a top 10 receiver at worst. Like, I think he could easily be top 5 again.
I mean, he goes as the 8th off the board there. Hey, BJ, if you're faced with the Debo Samuel, Mike Evans selection here like Taylor was, what do you do? I mean, this all happens well after you've picked it 2-1. We're talking middle of the 3rd round, and you're not up for a while. But what do you do in a situation like that?
I'd probably pick Samuel as well. But I'd be a bit worried because I know the whole trade speculation stemmed from Samuel not wanting to run as much as the Niners wanted him to. So I think a lot of his fantasy points last year came from rushing yards and a few rushing touchdowns as well. Is that right?
Definitely in that playoff game too. He got iced by Debo Samuel with a 7-yard rush or something like a 10-yard rush on like 3rd and 7 to kill that game off. So like they turned to him when they need a big play.
Yeah. So Mike Evans.
Cowboys game too.
Oh yeah,
Cowboys game where he ran in that touchdown pretty much, and where he ran in that first down, but the refs didn't call it. But
But they did use him a lot in the rushing game, didn't they?
They did. Yeah.
Yes. But if he's playing the Rams, they'll use him a lot. I'm just going to put that out there. In a week where he's playing the Rams, absolutely you cannot put him on the bench. Just obvious analysis there for me. But yeah, don't put him on the bench against the Rams.
Give him 2 weeks where he only has like 80 or 90 receiving yards and he's like, I don't want to be a rusher. I'm going to get injured, blah, blah, blah. And give him 2 weeks, and he's like, "All right, this is hurting my value. I'll go straight back to rushing." Like it's I can tell you right now, like it's all a ploy. Like he will definitely have rush attempts, and he'll definitely hit the end zone in the running game for sure this year. Like it's just a bit of everyone you saw Kyler take social media off Arizona Cardinals and stuff. It's all just a ploy in the off season. Like he'll be back to what he was last year for sure.
And another point on Debo. If you look at him last year, he didn't really start rushing until mid-season, until that Rams game on Monday Night Football, where he just absolutely ran all over them. And then he ran all over your Jags, Matty. And then it just kept going. It just kept going. Those 2 games just set it up. So, and even 2019 and 2020, I think his rush attempts slowly increased over the season.
Yeah.
So
he's
it's
just having
not
trouble
really
staying on the field. That was his problem in those years.
Yeah,
He's just
in
hurt.
2020 he was very hurt. 2019 he had a solid rookie year, but he wasn't as consistent as now. So yeah, hopefully consistency and availability. Those
And
things are on Devo's side.
if Debo was only an aerial threat, I'd be more worried.
Yeah.
Just with Trey Lance coming in, but
Yeah.
because he can take screens and they can dump it to him, literally like in the backfield basically, but just on different routes. Like I just think there's so many ways Debo could score. Well, I just don't think it's going to matter. And I just think if you're Trey Lance and you're trying to make a name for yourself, as if you're not just the first thing on your fucking chalkboard is one hit Debo, number two hit fucking Debo again. That is literally everything that you were doing.
You're in the huddle. You're like, okay, 19, and then the alternate plays 19. Yeah,
Exactly.
You get an audible. It's still kind of Devo.
Yeah, it's any audible. Even if he runs it, he'll fucking somehow do a lateral or something to fucking Debo.
Hilarious. And no surprise here, Herbert was available in the 4th round, so Taylor just has a big erection for that. And
I'm massive on him. I've got him ranked number 2. So I'm not huge, especially I don't often go high at QB. If I see him in the 4th round, I just find it hard not to take him.
Yep. Can't disagree with that. J.K. Dobbins is a great pick, I think, at this point, because I take him in a 16-team league. It's roughly the same spot when you're talking overall picks. But for me, it was a 3rd round pick at a time where he probably would have been a 2nd round pick if there wasn't the question about how's he doing after he got hurt in that preseason game the night before. At 5'4" in a draft like this, that's pick 44 overall. And he's going to be essentially your option for running back. So he's hopefully, the way this pans out is that you don't have to start him. He could be a flex, but when you need a replacement in your running back for a week or whatever, what do you think his volume is going to be like this year, though?
Well, I like doing this pick because I wouldn't really want him as a running back 1 or 2 because I'm not 100% sure what it's going to look like. But it's perfect as a flex because I think he has top 10 upside as a running back in that Ravens offense. Because, like I said, I think the passing game goes down a bit for the Ravens this year as, touch wood, people are actually healthy in that backfield and they're not going to have to go to the ghost of fucking Melvin Gordon and Latavius Murray and Le'Veon Bell and all this bullshit like that.
Freeman,
it was just absolute garbage they were having to trot out there. I just think in general they have to start running the ball a bit more, and that's what they want to do. That's what the team's built on. And it's not some huge coaching change or anything like that. They're going to want to go back to what they did best. So I just think him as my running back 3 is perfect because I also don't have to play him every week. I could pick one of the, I did a whole bunch of wide receivers like we'll touch on in the middle rounds. I could pick one of them to be as my flex and then get a look at J.K. Dobbins for a couple of weeks before I start playing him. I just think it was a perfect spot there because I thought that running back really dropped off a cliff after that. And I just wanted to get my running back set up pretty quickly, especially having 2 at the top that were very good for PPR. I thought Aaron Jones and CMC are very, very good pass catchers. So it made sense going them early. And then it gave me the ability to really target some guys that I'm high on in the middle rounds in the wide receiver position.
Well, now starts an epic run of wide receiver. Round 6, round 7, round 8, round 9, round 10, round 11, round 12, round 13. Maybe it wasn't that far, okay. But round
67 rounds in a row.
4 in a row.
Nice.
Of these guys, so you've got Debo, no worries. Now you've got these 4 guys in a row who are going to make up some mixture of either being a flex or your wide receiver 2. In the ideal world, what does your lineup look like at this point?
Yeah, I think I'd be playing Cortland Sutton straight up. Just like I said, I think that division in general is just going to pass the ball a fuck ton. Like it's either going to be that you get up early and you've already done damage, or you're behind against a Justin Herbert or a Pat Mahomes or a Derek Carr with Devontae Adams. Like you're going to have to come back and throw a lot. I'm just taking a shot. I like Judy and Sutton. This year, I just think, even though I haven't been huge on Russ, we all know that. I just think in general, this team is going to be so much better offensively than it was last year. Like, Russell is definitely an upgrade on what they had there before. So I like the talent of both those guys. I would take Sutton just because I think it's better value. I can't pick really between the two. I have a feeling it might be Sutton. I'm not guaranteeing that. I just think it's better value. I think Judy went about a round earlier in this draft. So
whole round discount,
I just think Cortland Sutton's proven it, even with really shitty quarterback play, that he can actually be a really, really good receiver. So with Russ going there. But then, like I said, I picked up a whole bunch of different guys as well. Getting the stack, baby. Stack.
Stuck them up.
Stack it up. Stack that shit up with Mike Williams, with Herbs. Get a good matchup. I'm stacking the shit out of that. I'm just going him as my flex probably. At worst being my flex. I may even go wide receiver 2 play on Mike Williams. I know he's very hit and miss. I know that. It's kind of why I picked him. I think he's a very high upside guy, and you pick him in the right moments. With Herb,
score you 28. You just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know, but with the stack with Herbert, I think it's a very good play. So I can mix it up between Sutton, Mike Williams, my boy Elijah, my boy and Manjot's boy Gabe Davis. I've got a lot of guys in the middle there, so I'm pretty happy with that at wide receiver.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon, I reckon you could do worse than finding him down all the way down there. Gosh,
I was pretty happy with
that pick
because I just thinking. Look, I won't be starting him from week 1, but he's the kind of guy that, everyone, like I said, everyone talks about what if Gordon gets injured? What's Javonte going to be? Well, what's Melvin Gordon going to be if Javonte gets injured? He could take over that backfield completely and just absolutely dominate it. And they gave the ball to him more on the goal line than they gave it to Javonte. And I know it's a new regime there at the Broncos, but they didn't bring him back for no reason. I think they really want to have him. And there's also the connection in school that Russell Wilson and Melvin Gordon had. So I can't see why Russell Wilson won't want him on the field.
Are they Badgers? Is that the one? Or Wisconsin? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Badgers?
Yep.
That's got to be one of my very favorite college mascots.
Jump around.
Badgers.
Yeah.
That's fear in your heart.
It's one of those weird things where I'm not huge on Russell Wilson himself, but I'm pretty big on his teammates. I actually think that there's a decent season in for some of the Broncos, skill players. I just in general don't think Russell Wilson himself is going to be enormous. But if you look at what those guys have done in the past compared to what they're going to do this year, it's going to be completely different.
And then my boy, so I would gladly have Mike Gesicki in my team in a 10-team league, but I went a little earlier just to stack up Dawson Knox with Josh Allen. But I've got a lot of love for Mike Gesicki this year. Not everybody is as heavy on him, but how do you feel having him as potentially a starting tight end in a league this size?
Yeah, he's pretty shit. That was an ass pick. I don't really like him. Nah, he's all right. I honestly, if I had my time over, this is probably the one where I would have gone Ertz, probably a pick earlier.
But instead of Gordon, are you sure?
Yeah, you're right. It's a hard one because you'd rather have if Ertz had just fallen 2 spots later, it would have been perfect. But I'm still happy with having Gordon. It's fine. Again, I went Gronk 2 rounds later. If Gronk goes back to Tampa Bay, I'm probably playing Gronk over him anyway. I think Gronk has more upside than Gesicki, just because I think it's a better passing offense. But I think Gesicki has definite path to have a pretty decent tight end. Again, if you're looking at tight ends past the top 4, they're all fucking shit anyway. Let's be honest. They're absolute ass sandwich. You'd think there's going to be a breakout for some of these guys. I've tried to fucking predict a breakout at tight end for the last 3 or 4 years. I'm almost giving up. I just think they're all shit.
Yeah.
You got the guys that you're pretty much certain are going to go pretty decent. Your Kelseys and your Mark Andrews. And then the rest are just a complete crapshoot. You're better off playing on matchups. So, I'm happy to sort of wait on tight end there. I would have rather Zach Ertz because I think he's going to be very good in the first 6 weeks without Hopkins. I just think he's going to be very needed in that offense. But outside of that, I just think Gesicki was as good as the bunch that was left. But if Gronk comes back for Tampa, I'd be starting him anyway.
Yeah. We got a listener question from somebody whose handle last year was at Gronk Milk 4. And now every time I hear someone say Gronk, that handle comes back to me. It haunts me. Gronk Milk. And there's 3 other people with Gronk Milk as the handle. What's going on here? Anyhow.
Gronk was top 3 when he played last year. He was absolutely phenomenal when
in
he
the
was
early
on the
part
field.
of the season. Yeah, he was one of our sell highs, and it was.
He absolutely was.
It was a good call. Let's move across to Manjot and just have a quick look at his, because he kicks off with Justin Jefferson, who we all love. I mean, we all love Justin Jefferson. And I mean, did you have a bit of a moment where you had to toss up between him and Jamar? Because I know they're your boys. They're your boys.
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, the gritty boys, LSU days back in the
Yeah.
day. La Gritty and the boys just dancing with the Gritty. Yeah, it was tough because Jefferson and Chase, the two phenomenal players. I went with Jefferson because we've got that extra year of knowledge on Jefferson compared to Chase. Like, for all we know, Chase could be a 1-year wonder, whereas Jefferson has shown 2 years in a row. He's probably in the top 2 wide receivers in fantasy. I'd
legit.
argue even number 1 if it wasn't for Cooper Kupp's amazing season last year, we'd definitely put him on the top.
I think he's a legit chance of being number 1 this year. 100%.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. Yeah, Jefferson, I think he's had a few greater years than Kupp, but that's probably because, well, Kirk Cousins is a better QB than Jared Goff. Not that both are amazing, but yeah.
Is what
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
true. And then the second round, now it's a bit of
Yeah.
a risk to go with wide receiver. Honestly, it was probably because you guys were like, don't auto draft. So I was just like, I go with
Got a bit flustered.
yeah, I got a bit
We
flustered.
rattled
I
you up.
didn't wanna-
That was
You
our
guys
job.
did get my head. You guys got in my head, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm just going to take Diggs for some reason. I was
I'll
thinking of
trade
taking
Diggs.
Kamara.
I'll trade
here.
Manjot. I'm always up for a trade.
Yeah, we know
So
Taylor.
he's going to trade you bloody Mike
J.K.
Williams or
Dobbins.
something.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins and
Yeah.
Aaron Jones for.
But
Stafford
I'll trade
Diggs.
you
I'm trying to
Melvin
run with that.
Gordon and
Well,
a
so
bag
much
of
upside.
oats.
So much upside.
Who wants oats? That's
Yeah.
the thing. Corey Oates.
I'll
Xavier
find Kenny.
Oates.
I'll
Yeah.
trade him to Kenny.
I
I'll
get
find a
Corey
Kenny.
Oates. You know, I get Corey Oates. You know, that's 12 points in fantasy.
Right
As
there.
in, because if he's scoring 2 tries, 2
getting
touchdowns a
tries.
week, you know, yeah, 100%. You know, I'm a Brisbane Broncos fan. I'd take him. Yeah, but
Ew.
back to that. Before
That
we
was a
get
big
into the
reaction.
NRL podcast,
We're going to
yeah,
unpack that in a minute, BJ. We're going to unpack
we're
We've
gonna
got till
unpack it.
midnight here, mate.
yeah, mate, we
Yeah.
got time.
Until my midnight curfew. Yeah. So yeah, big risk taking 2 wide receivers straight off. the
Yeah.
board. Yeah. So
Not,
Yeah, it's
not
not the
so
done
much
thing.
in PPR, though. By PPR,
Yeah,
definitely
PPR.
lends it to it.
yeah,
Full
they could carry, and the running backs
Yeah.
could just be neutered and it wouldn't matter. In the third round, I'm kind of banking on Saquon coming back. Now, I wasn't sold on him. I'm not sold on him at all, to be honest. If you watched our way too early ranking show a few weeks ago now,
You and I gave it to it.
Yeah, we gave it to Matty.
Mate, I will
We-
trade you for Saquon.
Yeah. Here we
Yeah,
go.
all
It's
right,
a
let's
trade
check.
offers.
I'd trade David Montgomery and DK for Saquon. That's a win-win trade, right?
Is it? I
Right.
feel like I'm getting bent over in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me come back to you.
DK,
We'll find a second guy to
so-
pass.
Manjot's
Yeah.
gone to the Taylor Goodall score trading, obviously.
Mate, I
Yeah.
think if you
Yeah.
included
Michael
Hollywood,
Thomas.
then that would balance that. Saquon and,
And then-
Hollywood.
and then-
Yeah, I'd do that.
So Saquon and Hollywood for Montgomery and Thomas wouldn't be too bad.
Ooh,
I'd trade.
I'll tell you
I'd
what,
trade.
I would take my time considering that for a long time, knowing that I'd probably say yes. But I'd leave you hanging for a while.
Yeah.
You're good for that,
Just-
Going on.
And if it was
Hey.
Dynasty, you'd ask for like a 5th rounder or something on top, just so
Yeah.
you felt like you won the trade.
yeah.
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 This year's
Yes.
fifth and next year's fifth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I do it. That's how I
Nah.
roll.
Yeah. On to the next one. Gibson,
Yeah.
have a love-hate relationship with him. He was absolute dog shit in the first half of the year. And then I traded him in a league with
Bloke-
Kyler Murray.
Bloke had a stress fracture in his leg.
I know. Yeah, that's why. He got injured in the first half of the year. And he was just
And he kept playing.
Yeah, you know what's good for a stress
I
fracture?
don't understand.
Continuing to use it. That is a horrible
no.
idea for a stress fracture.
But somehow
Yeah.
he got better. How does he get
And
better?
yeah,
in foot?
And I traded him in that league because I already had
Stop
Tom Brady
trying to
anyway.
stop Washington because they knew they were better than them. So they're like, oh, you can
I
just do what you want, son.
traded him too, man, John. I was desperate to trade him. I traded him to Jackal. That was when I got AJ Brown and Keenan Allen.
Wow. Yeah, I traded him for freaking Kyler, and Kyler got injured, and I already had Tom Brady, so that trade wasn't even necessary. But I thought I was robbing
not
the guy
necessary.
100%. Yeah, it was 100% not necessary. I should have just kept him. But
Yeah.
anyway, him and Josh Jacobs, I'm thinking it's kind of an open competition, but I got Gibbs as my running back too.
Yep.
Now, Jacobs not necessarily my flex, but I just wanted to take a running back before it was a bit too late. Now I got Hollywood a couple rounds later, but sandwich in between. I'm very happy I got Lamar.
Yes.
Not only is he my boy,
I can see the smile on your face, man. You look
yeah,
pumped
not
about that.
only am I a big Lamar defender, but I
You
can see
are.
him absolutely tear up the league.
Just hands it
Yeah,
off
I
to
can-
J.K. Dobbins, mate. That's all he's got to do.
Yeah. Yeah, his rushing upside, I can see him at least get 5 rushing touchdowns this year. It's not even a contest. 1,000 rushing yards, if healthy. That's the problem. That's why later on I got another good backup QB. But before then, I got Kenneth Walker. I think I took a fly on him because Chris Carson pretty much is retiring at this point, unfortunately. So I'm going with Kenneth Walker. Then, of course, I just had to take a tight end there in the 9th round. I just had to go in before it was way too late. I mean, Ertz was there, Fryermuth was there, Gesicki before, Taylor got the Gesicki. Yeah, so
Just
just went there.
Just shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Patterson, yeah, he's, Debo's copycat, Debo's brother, older brother.
Ooh.
But I think Patterson, he's good because of that versatility. He's a good option on the bench in case one of my dudes gets injured. A couple of my dudes up the top get injured. He's there, so he can play either position. Then Christian Watson, very high on him. Him and Rodgers, 100%.
I'll just say my only issue with Patterson.
Yeah.
Do you know how, you get a piece of bread and you put an arsehole on it and then you put another piece? That's what the Atlanta Falcons offense is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Awesome.
All right.
That's all I needed. That's all I needed.
Noted.
I felt like I had to cut in and just let that little bit of analysis out. So back to you, man.
Yeah. No, they could just totally beat him though, because Desmond Ritter is a rookie QB. They got Marcus Mariota, your boy Taylor.
Oh, you remembered him. You remembered his name.
I remember him
totally
this time. I remembered him this time, guys.
Totally
'Cause
blanked him last time.
Yeah,
boy.
all the tight end rankings. I was like, it's Desmond Ritter who this other dude is, and it was like Marcus Mariota, of course. But yeah,
Is
I
it
remember
still Matt Schaub? Is it still Matt Schaub?
Yeah, is he still the backup QB for the Falcons after all those
For the
years?
last 10 years.
Yeah,
But Cordero Patterson is a running back 4 in a PPR. You could do worse. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
Kenneth Walker's a real gamble. Now, Patterson's going to see stuff. I mean, if Kenneth Walker doesn't work out, at least Patterson's got a bit upside.
Calvin Ridley as well. I just think he's going to be used so much, either as a running back or a wide receiver.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
both
then,
probably.
to round it off, Watson. I just love him because him and Rodgers going to be great pairing. I reckon, at least if not this year, next year, I can see him go higher. Yeah. Lance, 100%. He's my boy. Got that. I'm getting that. I'm covering up the number 4. This is my boy, number 5, Trey Lance. Yeah. And Albert O.
There's massive upside. There's massive upside in fantasy.
Yeah, Lance and Lance and Albert O have massive upside. I'm really surprised Computer took Cole Kmet over Albert O. That was just absolute. I don't understand what the computer is doing there. Even Taylor, I kind of don't know about Gronk over Albert O. I'd be willing to start that debate right now.
If Gronk plays, he'll beat the living shit out of Albert O.
Yeah, that's true, but that's a big if. That's a big if. If Gronk plays, because
that's why Gronk's my tight end too. That's why I did it.
Yeah, that's true.
All good. I was going to say something. It was probably something stupid. No, I can't remember.
Yeah, man.
I was going to say something. It was probably something stupid. No better time to throw to our man on the turn. And you've been so graciously just listening to these idiots talk back and forth. And...
Yeah, I'm starstruck.
I spoke, and then I also
Don't
spoke
pump up
100
their
times during the
egos.
so-
Don't feed the animals. But mate, you're in a good spot here because you got Devontae Adams available to you at 10. Were you pinching yourself?
Oh yeah. I kind of wish I took a running back instead. So maybe.
But what would
maybe
you have done in
if I
that
did,
point?
if
you're
I
not
did
taking
double
Adams?
of Swift and Kamara, man, that would have been pretty good.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, although I don't regret it, I like it. I still think I could have did better.
Kamara,
Yeah, I
And
would
just
have
like
loved
seeing how
loved-
the draft played out, I kind of realized that I didn't really need to take wide receiver so early. Because like Taylor was saying earlier with his mid-round picks, there was a lot of good wide receivers around that area. Your Pittmans, your St. Browns, your Williams, your Suttons, your Thomases.
Picked up some wonderful receivers in that zone, though, and we'll get to them. But at that point, you've taken Adams, and then is Swift the guy you really want there? I'm interested in that because I know
it is. I like Swift. I like Swift. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt. If he stays healthy, then I'll be happy with that pick.
I think it's awesome in PPR.
He sees a lot of volume.
Definitely.
I think it's good even in like Astro, let's just say. He's definitely someone I'm now realizing I'm not going to get because I think if he gets to 15, you're all of a sudden going to take him. So he would have been someone I would have liked at 16. Just in general, because he's got the passing upside, but he's also an awesome runner as well. If he just stays healthy, like you just said, I think that even if Detroit just gets like 10% better on offense, which I think they will, I think that's an awesome pick.
Yeah.
It's an interesting spot then too, because you've got then straight away there's just a flurry of running backs off that. Najee Harris, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones. And by the time it comes all the way back to, you lose Javonte, Lenny Fournette, Elliott and Barkley go. But in that time too, a couple of tight ends are gone already. You've seen Kelsey, Andrews, Pitts. Is this like the end of a tier? Is this sort of what you're thinking here? That nobody, I mean, because Kittle's available, but do you think he's, what's your split there? Like, I know you were talking about it at the time, but what's your split there? Why is it Waller over Kittle?
I kind of felt that I didn't really like many of the receivers there. And obviously all the good running backs had gone. So I kind of went for the one I felt was highest upside, I guess.
It would have pissed me off if Evans fell to you there. It would have pissed me off.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of hoping it would go.
That would have been classic Brendan just scooping up everyone else's crumbs and turning them into the best pie ever. Fuck, that would have pissed me off.
Yeah, I was really hoping Evans fell to me there. I was even contemplating going to quarterback, but I figured because it's such a small league and it's only like 4 points a touchdown, passing touchdown, that they wouldn't have gone so quick. But
at that point, you need a quarterback too who's either going to kill it with volume or is a great threat to run him in, which is where I think Manjot's really going to kill us there.
Yeah, exactly right.
I can understand why then. It's like, oh, well, if then I'm not getting a quarterback there, happy to wait. I often say too, I want to be the first or the last.
Or the last,
100%. T. Higgins is a great pick though. I mean, these two here had T. Higgins between them at either 12 or 13, I think, between the pair of them in their wide receiver rankings. With Chase above them.
10.
Yeah, he had him high.
Like that's some love for two guys from the same team. You're buying into the T. Higgins, yeah?
Yeah, I like T. Higgins. He's a big man, and I think Chase is going to command a lot of the defense, I guess, which is going to leave Higgins open a lot, especially around the end zone. So hopefully he just gets those TDs.
Yeah, I mean,
remember
he
when
gets the TDs, doesn't he?
The ball started the week, and he went pretty well.
Yeah.
I remember that, Tay.
It did push off
Of course you do, Matt.
I mightn't believe it. I do remember all these weeks that you crushed me in starts of the week. I'm looking forward to that segment this year. That's going to be so fun.
Oh, 3 players now. Yeah, I'm in.
In a row to up.
It's going to be a blast this year. I like what you did here, though, on the way back at the end of round 5, because you then insulated it later, is having Travis Etienne, who's this big X factor. It's an offense that has to be improved from last year, right? God, it was a depressing offense to watch as somebody who goes out of their way to watch Jags games.
Bread ass bread.
Horrible.
I really like this pick.
What is it that draws you him at 5'10"? Like, what's the appeal?
I think it is the unknown that drew me in. Like, he does have the talent. It's whether he stays healthy or not, I guess. And whether the Jags can put it together. But I think out of all the players I was looking at that time, he had the most upside.
Because, I mean, the other guys in that region then on the way back, only one other running back goes in the whole next round. It's Damien Harris, for goodness sake. And then you're looking at Elijah Mitchell's, Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, if you believe in him. In the next 2 rounds, they're the only other guys that go at the position. So, I can sort of see why there's a bit of mysticism and appeal there.
Yeah. And no one
Mysticism, is
trusts
that the
a
word?
New England running back.
Oh, God. Yeah, ever since the Jonas Gray game, I don't trust New England ever. Anyone else remember Jonas Gray? Anyone?
Yeah,
Why did-
I do. Yeah.
Damien Harris, and he actually was really good. The problem you get is you don't know exactly which running back it's going to be each week.
Yeah, exactly right.
And then you just don't know who's going to get the touchdowns. And then it's someone like Brandon Bolden or something will fucking run one in. It's so weird. Like, there's enough value there because they run the ball so much because they're not going to trust Mac Jones to just air it out. So Damien Harris is always going to end up like somewhere near the top 15, 20 sort of range. But you just don't know exactly what it's going to look like week to week.
What I like about the auto pick at number 1 there is that they've gone and insulated themselves in round 12 with Ramondre Stevenson. So even they're shit themselves. So I think we can all be forgiven for doing that. I think at 6-1, Michael Pittman is terrific value. And same can be said with Armin Ra at 8-1. And this is what pisses me off about drafting with Brendan. We're not even talking about the guy sandwiched in the middle, who is a whole different level of me being pissed off at Brendan. Those two are super great wide receivers to be picking up at that range. What do you think the sky is for both Pittman or St. Brown? Where could you see them ending up if things break right for them?
I mean, besides playing for powerhouse offenses, both of them.
Right. Well, anyone who's got Matt Ryan, we know
with
money
awesome
in the bank.
quarterbacks.
Yeah, Matt Ryan, money in the bank.
But I feel like they're
Get out of
probably
the
the number
AFC
one
South
on both
focus.
teams. They're both really great players. I think the only thing that lets them down is their team. So hopefully both teams can put something together, and
So the play here is
hopefully
volume.
at least one of them hits, and I'll be sweet.
Yeah, but you're looking at it as, okay, so these are two guys who they should be on offenses that are going to have to chase. Is that sort of what you're thinking?
Yep, that kind of thing.
Like
and
that.
like, they're going to be the number one targets, I would assume.
Oh, not close, yeah.
So, yeah.
I'd imagine. The AJ Dillon pick is the one that ticks me off, though. Quadzilla falls all the way down to 7-10 for, and I mean, by all the way down. You did hunt for him, too. He could have gone lower. I watched you hunting for him. That's a great pick. Because
I love AJ Dillon. I felt the same way before last year's drafts. I was all over AJ Dillon. But I guess it didn't pan out too well last season until I guess at the end, as Taylor would know. But but no, I love him. I don't know what it is about him. He's just a big boy.
And when you say the
The
end,
quad
you mean
fighter.
literally the end of the last game.
Yeah.
It couldn't have been later.
Yeah,
That's what it took. That's what it took.
what it took.
Now, these fellas down here, 9-10, Pollard and Cook, and I reckon both of them are just as good as you can get in terms of fellas who could be something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so Pollard's just totally, hey, let's just find whatever volume Zeke doesn't get kind of play, or what happens if Zeke dies, right?
Yep. That's exactly what I've gone for. Like, the rest are all just like, I don't guess flash in the pans. Like, they may play if they're lucky, kind of thing. But if the starting running back in front of them gets hurt, then their value could increase quite a bit.
It's
That's kind of what I go for in the later rounds.
Yeah.
Stashing Dillon and Pollard is actually a pretty decent play because if one of them gets the opportunity to be the one, it's like a league-winning play. Like no one has. There's like an unrealized upside for Pollard or Dillon being the absolute only guy on their team. Like if either of those guys get the chance, like you're going to dominate those weeks.
And that's what I tend to kind of look for later in the round, is just someone who could be, I guess, a top 10 player if, I don't know, someone gets hurt or traded or however it goes.
100%. This is at this point, there's no such thing as a bad pick if you can see what their potential upside is.
Exactly right.
There's no such thing.
Yeah.
I think we are about to get thrown out of this one because I can see 40 minutes on the clock already and it says less than a minute. So I've resent the link and we'll come back in and we'll wrap up your team, Brendo, and then we'll get out of here. What do you reckon?
Yep.
Oh, go for your shit house team, Matty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
team, Matty.
Oh, I was just hoping to duck the criticism.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
I got no notes, but I got the memory, so.
Every time I believed them a little bit this year, they've just kicked me right in the testes.
Manjot, myth, legend.
All right, you guys throw me into the fire straight away, but that's why I'm here.
Taylor talk time.
Antonio Brown's out there hanging out with Kanye West. If that's not an insane asylum handing the keys to the inmates, I don't know what is.
Maddie C.
This thesaurus is both terrible and terrible.
I've got nothing else.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
All right, let's pick this back up because I think the Matt Stafford choice is kind of something that's forced upon you there, right? Like in any other league, Rodgers is
When
not
he
a
said
backup.
he was doing a stat.
Brady's not a backup.
Yeah. That kind of pissed me off, to be honest, these damn computers.
I gotta tell you, it's nice for once for a little bit of bad fortune to come your way because you just see the Taylor line here, kissed on the dick by dick kissing leprechauns.
That was, to be fair, that was Joel.
That was Joel.
That was Joe,
What are
yeah.
you doing, brothers? I mean, go. Brothers from other brothers. So yeah, to end up having to start off with Stafford, I don't know. Have a look at the guys behind. You've got Carr, who you completely just fished us into thinking you could have taken. Trey Lance and Tua, who also went in the gap between where you went and Carr. Okay, so Stafford's who you wind up with.
Which I guess is not real upsetting. He's pretty good. He's got a good team around him.
Like in any other world,
You can't
Rodgers
argue.
probably there, Brady's probably there. Do you
Yeah.
consider one of those other three though? Do you seriously, if the world is the way it is, and even Stafford's not there, or would you even consider one of these guys? You just punt even further and just wait even longer.
Yeah, I think I would have been forced, and I probably would have taken Tua because he's got a bit of.
He's got a bit going on.
Ideally, I was
Tua.
hoping for either Rodgers or Brady.
Yeah. Can you
So-
imagine just sitting back, waiting for everyone else to get their quarterback, and you only get the two-time MVP? That's all you get.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was kind of hoping for. But
We
Shit
should
like
bring
that,
on.
that
We
really
should bring
pisses me off.
Ryan on. We'll bring Ryan on and stick him up about Tom Brady and Harry Webb in his semi-final game in Astro.
We will get him back on. So he's
that was so
he
good.
likes being on the radio more than he'll let you believe. He does.
I
like
offered
does he?
him a trade. I offered to trade him Mahomes, like honestly, at about just before trade deadline too, and he was
For
like, "Nah,
Brady.
I love Brady's playoff schedule too much," so he said
Oh,
no.
no.
I love Brian too because he is so hard to get a trade across the line with. He just every time you get into him, he's like
No.
looking at you all skeptical, like,
Yeah.
"What do you know that I don't know?"
Yeah.
And to be fair, it wouldn't have mattered to me because I would have had the shit week. Wouldn't have mattered to me because I wouldn't have played
You would have been
Yeah.
on by.
if I was
Yeah.
first
Would've been on
seed.
bye.
So, and then
No.
I think he actually went better than Mahomes in the 2 weeks that I actually would have needed him anyway. So it actually would have been a decent trade for both of us.
Pretty well.
So I'm glad he didn't do it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it works out.
But 2 times, yeah.
It
When I
works
beat
out.
him in the playoffs and then when I played you.
We love
Yeah.
watching Ryan lose in the playoffs, don't we? I mean,
Fantastic.
Or
poor
it's every
guy.
second year though. We love watching him just not make the playoffs every other year too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
I'm actually pretty sure he's played you 3 different times in the playoffs, Brendan, and you've just owned him. I think he's 0-3 against you. Like,
Poor
unbelievable.
bloke.
Poor fella.
Poor bloke.
Rounding out your roster, I love the Rondale Moore pick. Anyone else here? Hands up if you like Rondale Moore, because, I mean, what is going on in that Cardinals team now? I've got my hand up. Manjot's off playing Snake on his Nokia 33 team.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad, guys.
Snake 3D.
But this
No,
guy's
no.
about the same height. He's definitely twice as heavy as me. But man, he's shifty and quick, and he's young, and he's got a bit of opportunity in that Arizona offense with Hopkins sitting down for a while.
He's
I just-
double the weight of you and a third of the weight of me.
and he comes up to about your hip, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
He and Kyle are about. Yeah. Do you reckon
Who
those
is
two stand
taller?
back to back to see
Who's
who is
taller?
taller?
Yeah. Who is taller?
Find out. Kyler significantly 5'10".
Oh, wow.
Really?
5'7". 5'10".
Jesus.
5'10".
That
My
sucks.
ass. My ass. is
5'7"
Yeah.
is always that's going to hinder him ever breaking out. I think Rondale, like he's always going to be a gadget guy. I think that's the only problem. He's going to be quick, but I think he's always good. But without Hopkins there again, it's a very good pick late.
For him, you either have to be way downfield or behind the line of scrimmage and with things in front of you. But I could see both those things happening. That Kingsbury offense is a heap of fun.
Definitely. And with the last pick, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have a look around who's on waivers. I mean, what do? You don't have him? Just go get Gus Edwards. I mean,
no, I've already got him.
Stuff.
He's already on my. I've already got the claim in, mate. Sorry.
What do you drop Gronk milk for that?
I'm disappointed Albert O didn't fall to me.
Were you really keeping an eye out for him? You'd got your tight end so early. Come on, man.
I wasn't. I was just poking fun.
I'm dropping Goosey.
Goose is out. See you, Goose. Overall, I like the double Ravens at the end there too, because Justin Tucker always a crowd favorite, and I mean because it rhymes with fucker. Who doesn't love that if you're Aussie?
And then Ravens rhymes with Cravens. Cravens are fucker.
I was thinking more like a pucker your arsehole. I was thinking like a pucker your arsehole up. That's. I reckon I could work something with that. Pucker.
Keep working. Keep working.
You normally
workshop it.
You normally pucker your lips, arsehole lips. I don't know. I don't know.
That bush
There's
tucker
something there.
There's something there. I haven't found it yet. I'll go.
Just gotta let it marinate. Let it marinate.
I'll go searching in that brown forest.
Brown forest. That sounds fucking ghastly.
Great motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right, who wants to be first to tear apart my team then? I mean, where do you start?
Yes, please.
Where do you start, Tate?
Imagine taking Cooper Kupp at 3. Oh my god, what a reach!
Yeah,
got
heaps
Wait,
of problems with that.
CMC right there. Come on.
I do like that Josh Allen pick.
I love that.
I don't think that was a reach.
It's very unlike Matty C. I can tell you.
Yeah, what's he go with that?
Well, literally this morning I had a Freaky Friday moment, and I'm not actually in my own skin.
Yeah, he's Elijah.
Yeah. Yeah, Elijah Moore has taken me over and actually picked a different Elijah in front of himself. So that's going well for Elijah, mate. So Cup, I don't know. Have to defend only the greatest wide receiver to ever play wide receiver for fantasy in the universe, or the greatest quarterback to ever be a quarterback. In fact, the only quarterback in NFL history, as we learned from Manjot recently, which I love.
Yeah, he's the only quarterback in NFL history, Josh Allen. Yeah. ESPN said it. ESPN said it. It's on an ESPN graphic. So he's the only quarterback in NFL history.
Man.
So those first two picks, fucking bulletproof.
Yeah.
And then it gets questionable. I mean, I don't know. I can imagine that there were probably other places you could go instead of Lenny. I still have a lot of Jaguar love for Lenny. It really, truly for me was a toss-up between him and Saquon there. Putting my money where my mouth is on Saquon, or going with one of my great
Lenny's
loves.
put in PPR too. Massive passing upside, especially with Brady. That's actually a very good pick. I like it.
Wow.
Hold on.
I wish he was dropping to me. I was wishing for him to drop to me.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't want him to drop to Taylor. But
Yeah,
then
I
Taylor
was
had
the
two
next
running
pick.
backs. It was unlikely he'd take
I
him,
would
but-
honestly, if he was there, I'd probably take him. I wouldn't care if I've got two running backs. I would take another one and just play him in
Wow.
flex. Like, he's phenomenal. Like, especially for full PPR.
I like how good he is, but gee, we just could not unlock that as a Jag. There was that 1 year where Bortles was just doing enough to not lose us games, where Fournette was fantastic as a rookie. And then we just never worked it out. And he clashed with Coughlin, and he clashed with, well, everybody.
The last
It's a pity.
season you guys had him, he had some ridiculous reception year, though. Like, you guys realized he was really good in the passing game, but it was like really weird dump offs that went for about 2 yards. Like, he must have had the worst yards per catch.
Okay, so he's not James White. All right.
Yeah, it was like, it was seriously like he had 120 receptions for about 210 yards. Like, it was something absolutely ridiculous. But clearly that's what Brady wanted him.
Well, and I think LSU definitely didn't use him as a pass catcher. I think he caught like 8 passes 1 year at LSU. He just was not his bag. And it's not because he can't do it. It's just he wasn't called on to do that. And we saw guys like, Nick Chubb can catch passes. Just because he only caught 7 passes in a year at Georgia doesn't mean he can't do it. But I think this is where it starts getting ugly for me, is that I'm sure you guys are going to start killing me on the David Montgomery pick because, from there, I'd made a bit of a bold call about him being better than pretty much everyone else in the world who was available at that point, or available earlier than that. And I defend my spot. I think he's better than Cam Akers. I think he's better than Antonio Gibson. And I definitely think he will wind up better than James Conner. Maybe we do need to double what about that motherfucker.
Oh, triple, quadruple.
We could double what about that. Okay, I'll call it now. David Montgomery will wind up with more fantasy points this year than James Conner. Do you take the bet?
100%.
Okay, and this is just in standard scoring. Just this same, yeah?
At fucking any scoring you want, mate.
Let's do it. Double water bet. That is 4 liters of water if I eat this. I mean, it's a lot. That's
yeah. And we've all talked about how much you weigh, so you might die.
I'm glad your driveway is naturally on an incline, so it's not going to fill up and just drown me or anything like that. The water runs away, thank goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love a bit of David Montgomery there. I think there's a lot to be said for just having a new regime come through and give him a bit of space to work, and somebody who can understand how to use a guy who's a bit shifty and a bit evasive. Who wants to tear me apart on Metcalf and Thomas? Anyone?
The only thing I'd say about Thomas is he's burnt me 2 years straight, but that could be a really good pick. That could be a really good pick.
And who plays QB for Metcalf? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Well, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. We saw Cortland Sutton be effective with Drew Lock, a bag of vomit. It didn't matter who was behind center, and Cortland Sutton could do it. And do I think Cortland Sutton's a better wide receiver than DK Metcalf? No! From the top of any building through a rolled up newspaper. There's no way. Fair dinkum.
Yeah.
Metcalf over Sutton.
Yeah, but Cortland Sutton wasn't anyone's wide receiver 1 or 2 when he was playing for Denver with Drew Lock. Like, he was used as someone's flex or something. Like, unless you're an Astro.
Yeah, he had to be a wide receiver 2 in our Astro League. Yeah,
it's you can make that like sort of. The problem with Sutton, everyone says he worked out a way to do it with Lock, but he didn't really. Like, he was like wide receiver 30 odd. Like, he seemed fine. He had some weeks, but he wasn't great. So, DK Metcalf is definitely a far better receiver. But if you're taking DK as one of your top 2 wide receivers, you then got to factor in that you're getting Drew Lock and that he definitely hasn't been able to prove himself or show any sort of consistency that would make you think that DK has any kind of upside this year. I think DK is going to have some bust-out games still, but my worry is that what's his floor? His floor is so much lower than any other year. Like, when he was Russ, like with peak Russ, his floor was like maybe a wide receiver 20 on a week. His floor is like wide receiver 60 now. Like, he could have a horrendous week. Like, he could almost go fucking catchless this year. I'm telling you right now, he'll have a game where he doesn't have reception. I'm telling you right now.
The classic Mike Evans, where he doesn't even have a target.
He'll do the Lockett, and Tyler Lockett's the same. Like, don't get him started Lockett. He's going to be.
Yeah, he killed me last year. He killed me.
Where did Lockett go in this one?
Oh, did he even
remember
go?
There was a week where he was wide receiver 2 on the year. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, he went 10.
That was great. That was a great time.
That was unbelievable.
He had a game against Arizona where he fucking had like 200 something yards and like 4 touchdowns and stuff. And then I'm pretty sure he almost went fucking catchless the week after.
Yeah, I tried to, after that big game, I tried to trade him so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, get rid of him right now. No one wanted to borrow him.
I've said about Michael Thomas that I cannot rank that guy. Like, I have no idea what his range of outcomes are. Yeah. He could be wide receiver 8, and I would go, okay. He could be wide receiver 88, and I'll be like, okay. I've got no idea where that guy fits in. I'm worried about his upside because he's not the only guy there. I think Landry, Olave, I think they're all going to sort of, take whatever Winston can throw. I don't think this team's going to air it out. I think they're going to, air with, they're going to go with Kamara and they're going to go with the defense. So I just don't know where this guy fits. I can't hammer you on it. I just have no idea where he fits. I just don't think he has a lead upside anymore.
I just think if he's on the field healthy with a guy who just cannot help but just fucking throw that thing.
Yeah.
And this guy's going to catch. He's going to catch. Yeah. I don't know. So I think in the 6th round, I could definitely be doing worse than picking up a guy who I'm ranking as a top 12 wide receiver.
For sure.
I just think that's where he's going to wind up. there is such a likelihood he is still going to be almost everything that he was without, spaghetti arm Drew Brees, and a guy who's actually got some power. I don't know. I don't think it's that hard. I love the proper Elijah going in the 7th round. I don't even know any other Elijahs in the league. I don't think there is any after Eli Manning retired. I think that's it. He's the only Elijah. We can all agree, right? And at 7-3, that is value. Manjot,
Heck,
you agree?
he's definitely the only Elijah M for sure. There's no Elijah M's in the league.
No.
Other than my boy Elijah Mitchell, who could
This
be
reminds
getting
me
his
of
own
primary school where if there's two people with the same name, and there was a guy in my year who was also Matt. So there was Matt C and Matt D, and that's just the whole way through primary school. I wasn't Matt. I was Matt C. And even after Matt D moved to a different city, still Matt C. They didn't drop the C. They just go to Matt. So I love that this is what we're doing with NFL players. Like it's a
and that's why you added the Y on the end, isn't it?
Well, it's just to make me seem more charming and engaging. Really?
It worked.
Oh, thank you, BJ.
Is Mitchell how many running backs did the Niners have?
Yeah,
they sent them all to San Francisco. They're all gone.
Yeah,
I mean, we've kind of lost. We lost most of it, who was a huge part.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not to be honest with Mitchell.
My name is
like
Jeff.
him. Yeah, my boy Jeff Wilson. He was the first one I ever called my boy.
Is he?
Way back in 2019.
The original boy.
Yeah. Back in 2019, preseason cut time. The 49ers cut him for some reason, somehow got him back. I was very upset. I called him my boy. And then he had that game against the Cardinals where he had the only touch of the game he had was the game-winning touchdown.
The last
and I was screaming at school, man. That was the greatest thing. Yeah, and everyone was like, what the hell is going on? Because I was so tense. And I was like, we just won the game. So, that's what was going on. Yeah.
Not everyone NFL is as hard as Manjot NFL.
Yeah, my man Jermichael Hasty's still there. He's okay, but he's not. They drafted that Price dude from LSU in the 3rd round. So apparently he's taken the Deebo Samuel carries. Yeah. So
right.
Is that right, Joe Williams?
I'm hearing
before the draft.
Joe Williams. Yeah,
Remember when they were banging the table for Joe Williams, who never played a snap? Thanks for that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that 2017 draft. It looked so good, and then it was bad. But then we picked up those dudes in the 5th round, DJ Jones and this Kittle dude. He just apparently was. He's just I don't know. He was okay. He got a few catches here and there.
I hope he'll make it. That guy. I hope he'll make it.
Yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell. It's a bit early.
Yeah. Well, a guy who I genuinely think is like that is Adam Thielen. He's got Jefferson in front of him. But he's always been a consistent wide receiver too. So there's always some upside with Thielen as a good flex play, in my opinion.
Him and Robert Woods, 8th and 10th round. I'm here just patting myself on the back going, good job, Matty. Good job, mate. Well
I'm not even going to lie. That Robert Woods pick actually made me feel very happy. Not going to lie. That was pretty happy. That made me happy. I was happy for Matty C to get Robert Woods there. I know.
We definitely needed him.
I know Taylor's probably like, fuck, I should have got a Woods or something. Yeah.
He passed on him for Gordon.
It was Ertz he wanted that spot.
It was, yeah.
So,
I'm happy to pass on Woods just as a Titans fan, just to hope he has a good year. Like, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
If I see him fall to me and there's no one else I like, I'll definitely take him. But I'm not sort of clamoring to get him either. I just think it's like, it's just a weird situation in the Titans. Like, they just have games that they just lean on Henry so much, and they don't even need to throw in the second half. And the amount of games where Tannehill has 140 yards, like, it's just absurd. Like, they just proved last year, and I sound like a broken record, they went and got the first seed without any wide receivers or Derrick Henry last year. So as if they're going to need to feel the need to throw a shitload next year. They're not going to.
But they had their greatest wide receiver of all time last year.
Oh, no. Here we go. Julio?
Julio.
You didn't hear AJ's tweet the other day? saying he's the greatest wide receiver that the Titans have ever had.
Probably is.
Right up there with that weekend they had Andre Johnson. Do you remember that? That one weekend?
Yeah.
We also
That
had
week
Randy
they
Moss.
had Randy Moss.
Randy Moss.
Oh, did you have?
Oh
Randy
yeah,
Moss?
and remember,
Yeah, for about
I-
2 seconds.
The
Yeah,
Patriots
nice.
cut him, and the Titans went in and picked him up. And then
Yeah.
in 15 minutes realized why the Patriots had cut him. He just
What have I
did
done?
in a period of like from a weekend game to like the Thursday, he just disintegrated into nothing, apparently, just into a bowl of ashes. And the Titans were like, bullshit, it's Randy Moss. Oh, no, okay.
Yeah.
It is funny though, because we've almost always been a run heavy team. Like we've
Yeah.
always like drafted and had if we've had a superstar, it's almost always been a running back. Like
Yeah,
It's
never
just the way
trusted your wide
Tennessee's
receivers
been.
ever.
Yeah. Like you're going to Eddie George, you're going to Johnson. Like it just feels like every single time there's a star in Tennessee, it's always a running back.
Yep.
What
And I
about
mean-
Nate Washington? He was nice.
Nate
I
Washington. But you
reckon.
get years where like Rashad Matthews is like their top wide receiver, and you go,
Yeah, I
well,
know.
fucking who? Like
Yeah.
20th overall at wide receiver by the end of the year. And you're like, well, fuck, okay, someone else can have him.
Yeah.
I'm just not even wasting my life on that because if I pick him up, what am I even going to do with him? I don't even know the
Humphreys,
guy.
Decker.
All right, Derek Mason. That's who this one website has ranked as the best
The
tight end wide
best?
receiver, and that was like in 2017. The
Derek
ranking was
Mason?
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, Derek
he
Mason.
had Steve McNair though, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
back in
Yeah.
the late 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s when they made that Super Bowl and they made.
I don't even remember him as a
Nelson
Titan as
Raven.
much as I think of him as a Raven, though.
Hmm.
I think of him much more about his time at the Ravens than I do about the Titans. And I mean,
No,
he was in my
that's it.
division. I saw him a lot.
That's a shit take.
Mate,
Maybe it was
we
more
talked
about the
Air
edition of
McNair,
Madden I
right?
used to play. Maybe that was it. It was maybe more
Yeah,
about
Air
that.
Nah, I think I remember Air McNair more for the Titans. Yeah.
For sure,
100%.
mate. Thanks, man.
Oh, sorry, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about McNair.
Look,
at the
he
time.
won
No,
an
he's talking about
MVP.
Mason.
He won-
Yeah,
Sorry,
Mason.
guys.
He's
I'm
talking
going to
about
clear
Mason.
that up. Derek
Matty.
Mason.
I'm like,
Maddie.
what the fuck are you
Matt-
talking about?
Maddie, he won MVP as a tight end in 2003 along
Yeah,
with Peyton Manning.
You're talking about McNair. I'm talking about Mason. I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
Mason.
We got
as a
Oh,
Raven.
okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Time.
My
We're
bad,
off
my
track.
bad.
Oh,
It's
See,
almost like
I've
it's
been-
11 o'clock or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
the
brain
witching
just
hour
turned
set
off.
in.
That's why I was playing Snake on my phone on my Nokia. I was like,
You know
my
what
brain
we
just
need?
went off.
Had enough of these.
We need
idiots.
Matty to say something really shit like, I don't remember McNair as a Titan. All of a sudden, man, she was in there like with pitchforks being like, I will fuck you up. The weirdest thing, I've got a McNair Titans jersey. Isn't that a strange thing? I
Yeah,
wanted
do
to
you
a Christmas
actually?
party with you, Taylor, actually, and you were
Yeah.
very, very happy with me.
I was,
Right.
and I was dressed up as Dirk Nowitzki.
That's a great photo. This is great selfie.
We
of us
do.
two.
We can share.
Steve
We
McNair
could
and
find
Dirk
that photo.
Nowitzki.
I reckon
Yeah.
that's on my Facebook somewhere. We could share that photo
Oh,
too.
it's definitely online. 100%. And then weirdly, this other guy we used to work with, Griffo's there in a Liverpool shirt. So we'll cut him out.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
After all, it's Liverpool.
Man, you forever. Let's go.
Oh.
Man, I'll stop it.
We're never going to get to the end yet.
I'm going to rattle through
Yeah.
these last couple because these last couple, they're all upside. I mean, Madison is going to be a top 5 running back any week that Dalvin Cook is out. I don't know whatever happened about that legal stuff with that partner who had something out about him. That nothing may ever come of it, but he always misses a week or two from injury anyway. So he's just a good guy to have in the background. Damian Pierce could be anything, and Alan Lazard. I think Manjot and I better water bet or something on this this wide receiver.
Yeah, I think
Green
I
Bay
need to
situation.
come in. Yeah, I need to come in with some water bets, honestly.
We do.
Yeah, I've got about 17 going at the moment.
They're all James Conner, by the way. Every single one's James Conner.
Every
water bet.
single one.
I like how it's the only Connor that Taylor likes is James. He doesn't like me. He doesn't like TC. He's met my brother. No, not crush on my brother.
No.
But G he likes James
Nah, I'm
Conner.
not feeling it.
And probably it's Dan Connor from Roseanne. That was a great series, by the way. Dan Connor, Roseanne.
Jeez, we're going to Roseanne jokes now. Are we?
As long as she's not telling a joke, she'll get us cancelled.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez, that was a fall from grace.
Ooh, it was
Yeah.
precipitous. It's a big
Yeah.
word for 11 o'clock at night.
Do.
Major, I think we should wrap this up and get you to do a less social media. And then we'll come back and say, see you
Yeah.
later, everybody. Run us through everywhere that everyone and the good people out there can find us.
Yeah, so Instagram at Aussie NFL Fantasy. There's that Facebook page, Astro League 2022. Sign
Yeah,
up.
updated
it's
it.
updated, baby. 2022.
Hey, wait, have we updated it?
2022.
Yeah,
100%.
hey, yeah, we got
100%.
2022. Yeah, we keep that Astro League legacy, over on Facebook. Yeah, Instagram. Obviously, I just said that. TikTok. That's where we're all at now. We're seeing all those new viewers coming. 200 views of video. We're
Yeah.
seeing all you guys come in.
We're seeing you.
Yeah, I dropped my exclusive jersey reveal announcement on there earlier.
Thank you for doing that. The
Yeah, it's
people
all
have
good.
thanked you.
Yeah, that's all good. I had to keep one exclusive a year for the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. So that was it.
So now he doesn't have to do fuck all for a whole year.
Yeah. It does exclusive. Now my contract, I still have to do a ton of work. Yeah.
should see his
Where
contract.
else?
It's
Email. Yeah, email Aussie NFL.
Mail,
Fantasy.
mail.
Yeah.
Mail,
mail. Geo box.
Hit
Whatever
Jim.
the number is.
Facts.
Yeah, fax, telephone.
Yep.
Yeah, you got that voice.
You can
Yeah,
send
go
it
to
by
Anchor.
Canon.
Yeah, voice message
Shannon.
by Anchor. Yeah, the
Slingshot.
pigeon. Yeah, carry a pigeon at this point.
Next episode, I'm going to get Taylor to do this. I just want to see what he comes up with. Next episode,
No, let
Taylor,
him do it
give us
right
a
now.
plug.
What's the
Let him
stupidest
do
thing
it right.
Taylor
Yeah, look,
Carry a
keep going,
pigeon.
Taylor. No,
Don't think
I'm
I
letting
didn't
Taylor
hear
take
carry a
this over,
pigeon.
man. No, I'm letting Taylor take this over. He's got more methods. I could only name like
Handballer.
Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. That's all I could do. Taylor, you keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we could have a meerkat bury it and go into tunnels and come out. That's pretty much all I got.
Yep, compare the meerkat. We're on there. Yep, got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Strap it to a sheep's
yeah.
back.
Voice message on anchor.fm/Aussie NFL Fantasy. Obviously find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast,
Everywhere.
or Anchor, of course. And of course, our YouTube channel. How could I forget? Where you can see all of our faces. You can see what Brendan looks like even.
Hey.
That
Well,
great beard.
Look at that
second
handsome
best
devil.
beard. Yeah,
at him.
second best
Some
beard
face.
on the show.
Took all his hair off his top of his head and put it on the bottom.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, that's what
You might
happened
be
to me
just-
too, by the way.
Parting a bit aggressively
Uh,
there, mate. If you had the same haircut as I did as a teenager, where I just wanted to be like Nick Carter and have that, and you've just gone a bit hard on it. That's all I think, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got two
Nick
massive
Carter
shout
reference.
outs, Matty. Two
Yeah.
massive shout outs
Yep.
from Taylor. First, I want to say massive thank you to the BrendoxbirdmeN. Thanks a lot for coming, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yes.
It was fun. Yeah, you are welcome. It was a great time.
All-time
I'll be
wins
back.
in Astro
I'll be
League.
back.
Yeah.
You definitely sit atop a massive throne in the Astro League.
Yeah.
I'm setting up the
thank you.
contracts. I'm setting up the contracts for
Yeah.
Brendan to come back. We're thinking like every 2 or 3 weeks. We're setting up contracts right now. With someone
As often as we
legal
can
minds.
get him. I think Manjot's
Yeah.
our correct
And,
legal mind. You're going to have to deal with him,
yeah.
I'm afraid. You can't
Yeah.
have these conversations with me, Brendan.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
That's all good.
One last
I look
huge
forward to
shout out.
talks.
One last huge shout out to Elijah Moore. Thanks for coming along, mate. It's been absolutely wonderful having you here. Just thanks for being a huge part of my draft. Thanks for being a huge part of my future victories this year, mate. It was just wonderful having you in. Thank you.
Bloody hell.
All
I
right.
need to work out backgrounds. I've got laundry in the background. I've got a picture. I don't even know what that picture is. I need to
Elijah
sort
Moore.
backgrounds out.
Faithful to the Bay, baby. Faithful to the Bay.
Thank you very much for joining us, BJ. This is really heartfelt to say thank you for coming along.
It's
'cause-
been good.
Thank you, man.
It's been
Yeah.
awesome, eh? Nice to meet you, Manjot, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BJ versus
Thank you.
MJ, it was great. It was great.
Oh,
Great to compare our drafts,
and then
Um,
same birthdays, pretty much, too.
pretty much,
Yeah, pretty much. A day off, man. I was so happy when he's
Yeah.
happy pastry day.
Yeah.
A bit late now, but happy pastry day to you, Brendan, and to you, Matty
you.
and Talor, and to everyone listening. I know, my birthday pastry day. Very special holiday over here. So pastry day, 100%. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, so absolutely thank you for all the birthday, support to both me. I'm sure Brandon also would say that to everyone who gave him some birthday love as well. Yeah. Also, thank you guys for putting the recording on the day after my birthday, so I could feel less sad about it not being my birthday. Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I feel that every year. Yeah.
Oh, mate, it is great to have the gang together. And I mean, it's generally pretty rowdy when it's the three of us, but it's been even more fun adding. I just didn't know how we were going to get enough space for 4 voices. But Brendan, you've done a terrific job keeping up with us idiots. Thank you very much for joining us. And
You did a better job than me. You did a better job than me. I clocked off.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. I was so starstruck coming in. To say, how am I going to compete with these guys? I know, I'll just be quiet.
Yeah.
How are you going to compete with Taylor?
Yeah.
I think that every week. I go, oh, God, I've got to face that guy again.
Yeah.
It's going to be another hour and a half on James Conner. Fuck me.
But that man.
Only
That's what scares me.
1,100 drop worthy moments out of my mouth tonight. Only 1,100.
Yeah.
I'm
There's a few drops here.
700 little browsers open of all things I've snipped out by the time this weekend is over. It's going to be excellent.
And of course, thank you, Elijah Moore. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah Moore. What a great way to finish it. Thanks, Elijah, for stopping
Thank you,
by.
Elijah.
Good luck this season as the lesser Elijah. The lesser Elijah M.
And he's never come back to the show ever.
Yeah, fucking don't need him. Hooroo, everybody.
Peace.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Matty C.
Oh, let's get this out of the way first. Is there anything you all need me to say in my weird accent?
He is ready to go.
I did this to Taylor a lot during Grand Final in Astro League, and he was like, shut up. Mate, I feel like I know who you're going to pick, so it's okay. Sorry, I'm still writing notes. I've just, so many times you said things that I think I could probably turn that into a joke, so I'm just writing it down.
Aussie NFL Fantasy.
They are a true arse sandwich. Bread, arse, bread. This thesaurus is both terrible and terrible.
I've got nothing else.
I'm trying to coax him to just be like, shut up, you dickhead, or have a crack at me, and he's not biting. That is the ice-cold worst take I've ever heard.
This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
Okay, we all good on Australian culture? This is our long suit, right?
I'm going to cut that
Says
there. I think
Elijah.
that's a good spot.
Just look at his face. Just look at his face.
It's
Look, he's chilled out, man.
Staring down fucking souls after listening.
Just chilled out.
I think he just needs to take some beer grung lessons from BJ for starters. This guy, he's not that good. Secondly, he looks like an auto bin. How green is he? Look at that green. It just looks like if you had a lid, you'd be throwing your garbage inside that.
Green is the color of life, Matthew.
Green is the color of running back.
Green is the color of life. Well, this is why I'm teal then. It's greenish. It's
Green is the color of the money you guys make.
Oh,
it's all $10 notes. $10 notes everywhere. Yeah, it's all banjos. Just a pocket full of banjos, mate.
Are we going to get some votes on our teams, Matty?
Now, yeah, before we all run away, because we've still got a few minutes before this thing will throw us out. Firstly, how do I share this again, Matty? Come on, if I can get your shit together.
Socials.
Share screen.
Yeah, we got to get our social media strategy going. Well, Brandon, you can listen in too. You know, yeah, because I'm that social.
Or you can jump out whenever you want. Yeah, if you're sick of us, you can go. I'm not going to make you.
You know, remember, boys, we gotta pump out that TikTok content.
What is going on? What is going on with me right now? What the fuck?
The man's
Just dancing.
He's just
I'm
drunk
somehow
on
the
Elijah.
side. Yeah, I'm laying in Elijah's lap.
This is why
Man,
you never hit stop on the recording. Ever.
Right now, you're a Carabao cocksucker.
He's actually a Queen Bee cocksucker.
Queen
Yeah, no, it's all. Hey, look, it's all good, man.
I worked really hard to find these two. Like I worked pretty hard on this.
Yeah, that's me with Trey Lance right now. Yes.
Have you got a top three, Matty?
Okay, so if it was up to me, so I'm keeping Gary Glory Holes. That's not on there. That's definitely one I need to run with. But I'm trying to find a user-friendly way of creating a logo for that.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Hey, you know what's funny actually? Hey, you know what's funny? I actually had a friend in high school called Quoc. QUOC. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, literally.
No
literally.
way.
So if he's like watching, man, shout out to Quoc there, but
The Quoc.
man, Quoc. If Quoc's watching, man, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder what's going through his mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe he can sponsor
Obviously,
my team.
Matty.
Bring him in. We'll have 3 managers in my team.
Yeah. Don't know how much he knows about sports or fantasy, but yeah.
Could still pick a
at this
better
point.
third rounder.
Yeah, third round, mate. Look,
Yeah.
when it
He-
comes
he
to third
could
round
pick.
picks, I'd be better off as an accountant than as a drafter. I like the comebacks. I like that. Don't know what it is about it. I like that. It's got a very retro little look to it. It's very cute. I do like the wankers who are just
Also,
wankers.
the
I
most
think that's very funny.
name out of all the ones I've seen.
Yeah, the comebacks is the only feature. Look, the most PC friendly ones are the goobers, the comebacks, and the ass clowns.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just love how, like, out of all the ones, Ass Clouds is like one of the top 3 least like bad ones.
Yeah, it is considered clean. ACT assholes is in the same sort of range, though, isn't it? I mean, the picture is pretty much of just a asshole face. It is.
Is that not a
funny.
dick?
All right, we got 2 minutes to decide on the
nose.
meeting. Yeah.
Western Wankers is way.
I
up
like
there
West
just 'cause I
Wankers.
like the
Wankers
graphic.
my favorite.
I love the graphics.
Yeah, that was the best. The logo and everything on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the first one I made too, and then every other one I'm looking at after it going, they're just not as good.
Yeah.
So that's probably the ones that I like the most at the moment. I like the comebacks one. I understand why it might not be the funnest to go to market with, so I could probably punt it and be like, oh, well, choose something else. In terms of one that looks really funny, I like the Quacksuckers one, the Carabao one, which has the rooster, it's almost like a cock, right?
Sydney Roosters, yeah, they can
So I
go.
think that's kind of funny.
They can go. Shit, that's my voice. They can go suck a dick. Honestly, the Sydney Roosters.
Yeah, fuck 'em.
Absolutely hate.
Hate them. 2010
fuck
grand
them.
final was a great moment for me as a Dragons fan twice.
Yeah.
We won and
I
they
was at that
fucking
game.
didn't.
I
In a
was at
poncho.
that game, and I was in a
Yeah.
poncho, and I
All
was
right,
part of the
we're
footage.
less than a minute in.
All
we're
right.
less than a minute.
So they're the ones that I like the most. Anyone? What's the one that you guys like the most? Give me one that you all like.
West
the most.
Wankers.
West Wankers.
The Googers. The
Goobers.
Goobers.
Yeah, I'm an
Goobers.
ass clown. I'm an ass
Ass
clown,
clowns.
man.
Let's run with it. Western Wankers, ass clowns, goobers. We'll take them
Yeah.
to the people. We reckon.
Go team.
And glory holes.
Yeah.